YouTubers, we've got Rascal back today for part 3. Remember last time his mate streamer had been shot in the back and they're about to go to his funeral. Anyway, I'm just going to talk about it. I just spoke to him. I'll point some things out now so that when you get to him, you can sort of think about it. They go to the funeral and he's sort of thinking that they're going there to mourn and, you know, the mum's upset and all that. And then he notices that everybody's just talking about revenge. Talking about get back and all this shit, and it's just not what he expected from a funeral, you know. That's a lesson that he learned as a kid, that when somebody dies, you got to get 3 back or 4 back or whatever, you know. You got to get paid back. Not that you mourn the person and you know, get upset about their life and stuff, but you turn it into aggression and take it out on someone else's and the other crew, you know, the opposite crew. Yeah, just crazy shit. Also, the mentality that he has. He went into juvie. He'll tell the story, you know, and the guy that he got, and the reason that he got him, you know, for a few words, he almost did something that he could have got life for, you know. If that went wrong, he could have got life easily, quite easily, especially the way he carried on with it. That's the mentality he had. The mentality he had, you know, and then even just the way they're set up there. The juvenile centers, and then where they sent him after that, the place he calls Gladiator School, just the brutality of it all. So yeah, it's pretty fucking intense. There's a few other things in there you'll get to, you know. I sort of was going to do a reaction video, but, you know, doing a reaction video to this is, you're reacting every 4 seconds, pausing it, talking, and it just goes forever, you know. I want to let him get through his story and let you make your own judgments. But yeah, I just wanted to point them things out so that when you get to him, you can sort of see, you know. And same as he had a gun on him, got pulled over by the police, ran, you know, punched the officer and ran, ended up getting 12 months for punching the officer. But if he didn't, being out of juvie on parole or whatever, probation with you know, and this is only his life from 14 to 17 we're going through in this little bit. Yeah, getting caught with the gun, you know. And imagine he hadn't got rid of the gun, or they went to get him and he's thinking, fuck, I'm doing a long time back. Because of their convictions and sentences are so big over there, he could have started pulling out and started shooting, and it happens a lot over there. They just think, fuck, they got nothing to lose, you know. There's also a part where he says to them that he doesn't give a fuck. He thought he was about to get life, and that he doesn't give a fuck. I'm built for this shit, all that. Somebody that's lost their parents were in gangs and junkies and stuff, and raised around that life. See how you become a product of your environment, and, you know, you don't know how to love or be loved. But anyway, make sure you drop super likes, super stickers, likes, all the super likes you can. Donate to help his cause, to help him get out to you know, so that he can experience real love and life, and, you know, with his new wife. He's given up the gangs, and he, you know, he's someone that can help the youth massively. He's not only been in that mentality, but he's been, you know, at the top of that mentality. So, yeah, let's keep getting into it, you know. Northsiders, sorrenos, Emme, fucking Baker Street. Talks about earning his Baker Street in there. Doesn't go into detail about that, but, you know, it's pretty, you know, it's pretty self-explanatory. But, you know, you just can't give details because things you haven't been done for. Hope you enjoyed the video. Good one, guys. Last time we had we were at, when you were 13, your mate got shot in the back and died.
Oh yeah, my homeboy Dreamer.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was able to make it back out for his funeral, and like when we got to his funeral and all that, like I said, like, it was sad because his mom was right there at the wake and all that. But the main thing that tripped me out though was, like, when we went to the funeral, right? Like, we had our own little moment of silence, and we were all surrounded the casket, and none of the homies, like, were, like, really tripping, like, damn, you know, like Robert just died. You know what they wanted? Yeah. They were talking about, okay, well, we can't let this go unjust. We're gonna have to go kill somebody to make it even. You know, so that's how like my hood is. You know, like,
yeah.
You kill one of us, we want to go back and kill like 3 of you.
Yeah.
You know? And for me, I've always went like 100% full force. You know, I've never my foot is always on the gas. It's never on the brake.
Yeah.
At all. So if I'm gonna go 100%, and I'm gonna go until like the wheels fall off. You know, but you know, that could always backfire. You know, and like I've gone through a lot. I went to a lot of funerals. You know, I went to a grip. At least, man, I can't even count how many times I've been to funerals. But anyway, so that time when Dreamer died. So after that, we had like a little junta, and a junta is like a meeting and usually it's like where all gang members get together and we start discussing stuff. We start discussing, okay, who has the guns? Where do you pick up the guns? Who's gonna go on this? Holiday? And who our target's gonna be? You know, sometimes it's like on the fly. Hey, I'm bored. Let's go kill somebody. But it's also like when it's like a certain something that happened, then that's when we get together and we start. Okay, well, we have to go over here to Tokerstown's neighborhood, and we need to catch one of those 50. Who's willing to go? How many cars are we gonna take? So it's basically like set up perfectly, so no one will get caught.
Yeah.
So, but and then to be from my neighborhood, I mean, to get Baker Street tattooed on you. Like you have to have done something, right? You can't just get Baker Street tattooed on you and not done nothing.
Yeah.
Well, that night, my homeboy Robert's funeral, like I earned my Baker Street.
Oh yeah.
You know, like I remember, I don't want to say what happened.
Yeah.
I don't want to say what happened.
Yeah.
Because I never got caught for it. I never been like you know, and I don't want cops to be listening.
Yeah, that's all good. Yeah.
Guy. But anyways, so anyways, I earned my Baker Street that night. I went back. After everything happened, like we went back to my homeboy Creeper's house and we borrowed the tattoo gun. And then me and my homeboy Looney, we went over to some girl's house. It was his girlfriend at the time, and he tattooed on the back of my neck. It's Baker Street, real big. Anyways, like maybe about a month after that, I got busted for stealing a car. And I didn't steal it. It was one of the homies had the car, and like I didn't want to walk, so I was like, "Hey, let me get it." It was stolen. So I was driving around, and I was going to Jack in the Box, which is like a little fast food restaurant, and the cops seen me when I was driving by, and I was about maybe like 14. So he's like, "Oh, look at this little kid driving a car." Yeah. So he turned around and tried to follow me. So I took off in the car, and then it was like it was a Toyota 4Runner, and I went into like these little where these apartments are at, and I went to an apartment where it was like it looked like the apartments are connected onto like where you park your cars, right? Well, I drove into that, I went up, and instead of hitting the brake, I hit the gas, so I ran into somebody's like living room. I jumped out the car and I took off running, right? And then I ran across the street. The cops were all following me, and I go inside like to this like apartment building. And in the apartment building, they had these water heaters, and I was thinking that because the helicopters are around, that they might not be able to find me because of the heat on the water cooler. So I'm over here sitting in this, but not knowing that like the cops are tracking me the whole time. So anyways, the cops come, they arrest me, and they kick me in. I go to juvenile hall again, right? Well, I'm doing 6 months for this stolen car.
Yeah.
And at the time they had me at a place called Theo Lacey. It's a juvenile section, but in the adult jail, right? Yeah. And when I was there, my homeboy Tripper from Baker was with me too, and there was some fool named Raven from Tokerstown, right? Well, my homeboy, I'm on something called Clark at the time, which is I make all the bundles for everybody. I set up all the food and all that. I'm basically like a porter or like a worker. Well, one day Tripper, my homeboy, comes up to me and he's all mad, and I'm like, "What's up, fool?" I'm making shower rolls, and shower rolls are basically just like a towel, boxers, and socks, and for everybody. And then you tape them up and you put them in a little stack so people can grab them when they go shower. Yeah. Well, he walks up to me and he's like, "Hey, Rascal." I was like, "What's up?" And he's like, "Hey, this motherfucking tater tot," which is Tokerstown. He's like, "The fucking tater tot disrespected Dreamer." I was like, "He did what?" And he's like, "Yeah, he disrespected Dreamer." I'm like, "Well, what did he say?" And he said that he looked at me, he started laughing, laughing, and he said, what happened to your homeboy Dreamer? Right? And that fool Raven's homeboys just killed him.
Yeah.
And that's the homie I was talking about right now.
They got shot in the back.
He said, what? And I was like, he said, what? And I was like, all right, then we're going to kill this fool tonight. And he's like, how are we going to do that? I'm like, I'm going to make knives right now with a toothbrush. So I've never made no knife ever in my life. You know, I've never, like this, we only see this shit in prison, you know? But at the time I was about 14 and I was like, fuck it, I'm going to kill this fool tonight. So I go back, I get in juvenile hall we have long toothbrushes. So I go back into my cell and I start shaving down like how I would think a knife should be on the end of a toothbrush.
Yeah.
So I sharpen it up really good. I put a handle on it with like some string, and I hooked it up female like real good. And I asked Tricks like, "What's up, fool? You want one?" He's like, "Nah." He ranked it. He was like, "Nah, I'm good. And I was like, "All right, well, when I get up and I start stabbing him, I start blasting this fool. I want you to get on him and just start beating him up then." And he said, "Okay, I got you." So that night we had day room, and right away we go into the day rooms and there's all kinds of chairs and tables on where the day room section is, and the cop, she sits like right by the window, right? So and by the door where she could just open up the door and leave. Well, and then there's like telephones lined up against the wall. Well, as soon as we come and we sit down, she asks, "All right, does anybody want to use the phone?" And Raven gets up right away and goes over to call his family. Right, so I look over and Trips is like 2 tables down, and he looks scared. He looks like he's white, and I'm like looking at him and I'm telling him like, "Hey, calm down." And I give him like a little red, like, "Are you ready?" And he's like, "Yeah." So I stand up, and the cop is like, "Hey, Delisarius, what are you doing?" And I'm not saying, I don't even acknowledge her. I just walk directly up to him, and he's on the phone, and I just pull out the banger out of my sweater, and I just start stabbing him. I stab him. He's on the phone with his mom, so the first one hit him like in the back of the neck, and he's like, and I stay on him. I start stabbing him until the toothbrush broke. It broke off in his head. He needed 17 staples in his head. And my homeboy Trips is kicking him in, and afterwards I was like, "Hey, keep my homeboy Trimmer's name out your fucking mouth, you lame." And he was like on the floor screaming like if he was dying.
Yeah.
And the cops come in, and because the one cop that was, remember, this is a jail prison. These cops in juvenile hall are like
social workers,
security guards.
Yeah,
you know. So she got scared. And instead of like pulling out her pepper spray and trying to protect this guy, she runs out and closes the door on him. Right? So she does it. So I'm on this fool for at least like 2 minutes. 2 minutes on this guy.
Wow.
Before all the cops come, they tell me that they spray me, and then me and my homeboy back up and we lay down. Right? And then the cops tell me from right then, they're like, "Oh, you're done. You're going to do life in jail." Right? And I was like, "I don't give a fuck. You know, I was born for this shit. I don't give a fuck." So they take me and they take me back to juvenile hall, because the place where I was at, Theo Lacey, that was just like a place where they would house people when they're doing like a nice little issue of time. So they take me back to juvenile hall and they put me in Unit T. And Unit T is like where people are being tried as an adults, people that have like serious crimes. So I start going, so right there they tried me as an adult, right? And I got tried as an adult for stabbing this guy. Well, I'm only like 14 at the time. They can't give me all this time. So they gave me 3 years. They gave me 3 years in a place called California Youth Authority, which is prison for children.
Oh, yeah.
In California. And so I turned 6 years into 3 years, right? I went to youth authority, and when
this call and your telephone number will be monitored and recorded.
Youth authority is no joke. It's like gladiator school.
Yeah.
You know, and there's like it's all it is mind games, right? And like the place that I went to is called Nellis, right? And there were so many, like you can't. It's so bad over there that, like, let's say you have
60 seconds remaining.
Yeah.
And your towel drops on the floor. You cannot pick that towel up, or you're considered leva. and Levon cannot do nothing. You get punked by everybody, right? So, like, I went there, and thankfully I had two homeboys from my gang right there. So as soon as I got there, I didn't have to go through that shit. They picked me up right away. And from that moment on, it was constantly fighting. Every single day, you would fight every day.
Wow.
Without rest.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And they call it gladiator school for that reason. You know, but so I stayed there for 3 years. You know, just fighting, like earning what I had to do, and like learning different stuff. You know, and when I got out, I was like 17 years old, right? And when I got out, like right away, like I go straight to my neighborhood, right? And now it's back to the same old shit, packing guns. You know, like trying to kill people.
Trying to kill people. That's what he was about to say. Packing guns. So that's like gladiator school. It says it was like security guards. I'm assuming that new place would have what's it called? Like harder, hectic, more security, because that's like a it's like a prison for kids, you know. Not. Yeah. So that was it. Got pretty intense, eh, guys? For them ages, just to be them ages. This next one I just spoke to him. Fucking super intense as well. And it's only getting more intense, you know. So stick by the story. If you haven't watched the first couple of videos, get to them. It sort of shows you his path and how he got to where he is. And I know some people don't understand that because you haven't lived that life. But the reason you live the life you live is because that's the way you were taught life was. So just think about that, you know, and then maybe you'll understand why people live the way they do. You know, we don't all get the same lessons in life. We don't all get the same opportunities or born into the same circumstances. So, you know, try to understand people instead of judging them. Everyone's different. You know, I used to judge, I used to think Asians were rude when it comes to walking, and they just walk in front of you with it. Oh, sorry, none of that. No, never any of that. Went to Korea and Japan last year. If I didn't walk in front of anyone, I would have never got anywhere. The streets are so fucking packed. So it's just a normal thing to do, you know. Yeah, you just walk. You if you don't stop, you know, or you let everyone through, then fucking you'll be there all day like a fucking officer. You know, them people with the stop sign, you'll be one of them persons because you're fucking not getting anywhere. So yeah, it's better to understand people than judge them. You can go now.